This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Ramen Armored Vehicles RAV02, the Amphisbaena, or however it's pronounced. I'm pretty sure I ruined that one. This would be the quote villain version of the tank from Ramen Toys, and we're going to take a look at how it works out. Obviously, if you're collecting this for G.I. Joe, this would be a Cobra tank. And I am fairly certain that a tank similar to this did show up in an episode of G.I. Joe. And if you know what episode I am talking about, please feel free to post it below, and I will make sure to pin that comment. So on the front of the box, we just have some really nice artwork of our tank with its dual barrels. And this was one where if they sold enough of them, they were going to supply a blast effect with it. But I don't know if they sold enough for this. That being said, when the reduced pre-order pricing ended, they put out a Wolverine top and a bridge layer top to go with this as well, which may have helped get it above and beyond if they'd done it earlier. And in all truth, if they had, I might have ordered a second one of this tank as well as a second Wolverine set in order to have kind of a vehicle for my Night Force figures. That being said, let's finish taking a look at this box. I've already talked too much about this crap as it is. Just a little bit of boring here. A little bit more boring over here. Even more boring here, and I think we already looked at that side. The other side is just the same as the other side. And the back is just a plain back like on the other one with a little dual snake logo. That being said, let's go ahead and open this sucker up, shall we? Including with this is, of course, the instructions on how to put everything together and a set of stickers to go with it. I'm sure a lot of people would be more likely to just go ahead and order some Cobra logos from Toy Hacks to put on this. That is something I'm considering with these and the G.I. Joe tanks. So what was inside there was an extra set of antennas for this thing, as we had with our previous tanks, but no blast effect. As I said before, the likelihood of them actually selling enough of this version at the time to actually get that blast effect was pretty unlikely, since it was just this tank and not a bunch of different parts at that time. However, let's go ahead and take a look here. We can spin the turret here around. Oh, and we just spun it off. All right. Well, looks like it almost looks like the top of this turret was red plastic painted black, actually. That's interesting. I would have thought it was black painted red, but it looks like it's the exact opposite. No, see here, it looks like it's red. Oh, well. Well, let's go ahead and set this aside. Inside, we have the same basic controls that we had inside the other tanks. Nothing particularly special there. You know, control stick doesn't move. These things still move, and we still have two pilot seats here. We have the two toe bars here, or attachments for the toes. Same back here, although, as always, one of them always has to be loose or off. In this case, both of the back ones were. The little clamp thing barely opens, as you can see, and then can shut. Oh, let's lower this again. Sorry, guys. Wasn't thinking. The treads move. They are spring-loaded, as you can see. If you want to see a little bit more, obviously, there's a lot of give up there. Again, the tank itself is designed pretty well overall. So let's take a quick look at the turret here. as you can kind of see with the inside, this is what I was talking about. It kind of looks like, actually, this kind of looks like it's clear in here as well. Let's see. The turret gun does raise and lower. This would be where the blast effects would have gone if we'd gotten them. And the hatch is open straight on. And there are 2 seats up there, and they do actually swing to the inside and outside. Now let's go ahead and see if we can actually get this back on here. There we go. Here are 2 antennas. They look to be the same as the antennas that came with the other ones, only they are. This feels like a lot stiffer plastic than what we got with the last ones. And they're a much tighter fit in there as well. So, I mean, this is our vehicle put together. We have this side. Again, turret goes up and down. There is no magnetic stupid thing back here for it. Obviously, they still have the magnets in these things because you'd be switching parts out if you wanted to. And the side of our tank, other side. And the back. Does look like there's a little bit of paint back here on the vents, but not much. I mean, I guess technically there's not much to say about this one, is there? If we go ahead and we open our 2 hatches. We can fit our G.I. Joe figures in there to pilot it, or at least to be the gunnery people. Oh my gosh. You know, I don't remember his leg being that stiff when I recorded the review for him. But, by the way, I don't think I ever finished editing. Holy crap. Screw it. We'll stick Cobra Commander right there. And we will also put the Baroness in here on this side. Unfortunately, without the gun like they had for the other tank for G.I. Joe, there's not really much to actually keep them in the position that they're in. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. That was the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander sitting there. So actually his review is on the online. It was the retro cardback version that I forgot to finish editing and post. But yeah, that is kind of unfortunate that they don't sit very well in there at all. But as mentioned, everything moves real nice. The same parts will come off of this one that came off the previous version that we reviewed, since, you know, it's the same base. Which again brings me to that one complaint I had about the Ramen toy stuff. If they had sold the base by itself and then the top parts all as separate things, they probably would have gotten more sales for it, because then people wouldn't have had to buy a full tank in order to build the other 2 vehicles, you know? So what are my overall thoughts on this design, you may be wondering? And I think it is actually a nice design. It looks pretty spiffy. There's a word you probably haven't heard in a while. And it definitely makes a good Cobra vehicle, especially if you didn't get the HISS tank. This would be a nice substitution. The coloring looks great. It will certainly blend in with the rest of your Cobra items, since most Cobra vehicles are black and red or black, red, and gray. Oddly enough, almost the same colors as Night Force, which actually makes me wonder if they're going to release a second version of the Cobra Claw in black and red. But that's a whole nother story to talk about later. This looks good. It'll have a lot of fun play factors, I think, if you're playing with it. But as I've been thinking about this, you know, I had theorized that one of the reasons why the Mobat did not end up being the last HasLab and we got the Snowcat instead was maybe because of Ramen Toys putting out these tanks. And while I do think that still probably could be a factor, something else has occurred to me as I was looking at these things. And that was simply, does it make a good play set? And to be perfectly honest with you, I would almost have to say not really. So the tanks are cool looking and they'll be a nice little display thing to have. But as far as the different things you can do with them, there's not a whole lot of places to put figures. They didn't add little figure stand spots on here at all, not on any of the versions. This one, you can see 2 of the figures up top. Same with the Wolverine, even the bridge layer, as long as you don't have the bridge up to put in place rather than in place. You know what I mean? There's just not much you can do with the tank. Like we looked at the Snowcat, they have so many different things. You got different places you can stick the figures. You can move shit around. You can turn it into a small encampment. There's a lot of playset aspects to like the Snowcat. And I don't know how you would do that with a tank. And I think maybe that has as much to do with Hasbro not putting out the Mobat as, Ramen Toys putting out their own tanks. But you know what? I am curious as to what you have to say about that. And if you think that theory might be correct, or if you think I'm wrong about that theory, what kind of things would you do with G.I. Joe Mobat set to make it into a more playable item, something that could be displayed with more action around it, so to speak, maybe even than what we currently can do. And if you did enjoy this look at the Ramen Toys RAV02 Amphisbaena, or however it's pronounced, please feel free to like that smash button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future, you can subscribe. I thank you for watching. Peace and love.